This is Bunny Bhoola reporting live from South Africa for the dope news called African Voices for the Road to Growth. The coronavirus has stopped us all in our paths, putting a pause on our daily day-to-day activities. One such activity is travel and tourism. The industry is at a standstill, but that does not mean innovation for survival is dead. With our show, we want to understand the journey of these trailblazing industry leaders, from their past journeys to the present situation, and of course, the roadmap to tomorrow's growth. So join me on this interesting journey as we move across the various African countries to learn, explore, and empower the voices of Africa as they set into survival mode to revive and reinvent to a whole new normal.
Today we have a very special lady, Anne Wanyoike from Kenya. Anne has worked in the tourism industry for over 3 decades. She rose through the ranks to become the accounts manager at Kenyan Airways, to be the founder of FCM Charleston Travel, where she worked as a CEO. She also served as a board member of the Kenyan Tourism Board and also was the chairperson of the Kenyan Association of Tour Operators, commonly known as CATA. Presently, Anne is the CEO of Lufthansa City Centre-CTM Travel, one of the leading travel agencies in Kenya. She is also serving as the vice chair of the Social Entrepreneurship Society of Kenya, and she also serves as an ambassador of the South African Tourism Board Kenya chapter. Tell us a little bit about the last 2 years. What has the situation been like in Kenya pre-COVID, and some of the highlights of the industry that we all love to be working in?
Thank you, Bunny, and I truly appreciate the invite to be in this program, and thank you very much for your kind words. Yes, the past 2 years have been very interesting years in Kenya. I think we've had very good positive events happening in Kenya, and one of the major highlights was when Kenya Airways launched its flights to New York, America, and it was a direct flight. As you know, America is one of our source markets. So that cut down the travel time for the American tourists into Kenya. Of course, that opened up the trade between Kenya and America. And of course, that started quite positive relationship between us. It increased the relationship between us in terms of tourism and in terms of business. So that was quite a highlight for us. Again, what happened in the past 2 years, we'd have increased hotel chains that came into Kenya. We had about 8 chains that came into Kenya, and that increased our capacity to be able to handle the MICE. And we had, of course, an increased number of meetings that came into Kenya. Another highlight that we're very excited about, because that brought stability in terms of business and confidence in terms of tourism in Kenya, is that our opposition party and the main party, and with our president, they had a handshake. And that, of course, that was a very great highlight for us, because what happened, there was increased confidence in terms of business increased, there was more investors wanted to come into Kenya, tourism, we had very positive feedback and positive reviews about our tourism.
Very, very positive, Anne.
Yeah.
But now, let's talk about the present. You started 2020 with a real bang. You had hopes and dreams. And then suddenly, the world stopped. Tell me, how has COVID impacted on Kenya during the lockdown?
Well, COVID has been quite something. It has been... It's just been a real hit for us, especially the people in the hospitality industry, the tourism industry, and the travel agents. This is something that we haven't seen before in our lifetime. We hadn't expected it, and we never even have dreamed it would even happen in our lifetime. It's been tough. travel agents, a lot of travel agents closed their offices between the 17th of March to the end of March. 95 or 99%, I must say, had closed their offices. We had to send our workers home either on unpaid leave, or we had to lay them off. We had to close down our offices. And hotels started closing down again because there were no visitors coming in. There were no flights coming in. Flights stopped coming in, so we didn't have flights. We didn't have visitors. And that has been a real negative impact on the hospitality, travel, and tourism sector. Of course, other businesses also have been affected, not just the tourism industry. So we found a lot of people are just sitting at home, and it's a real crisis right now.
Are you all still currently on full lockdown, or are you all, do you all have partial lockdown?
We have what you call a partial lockdown because we have a curfew. We have a curfew that starts from 5 a.m. in the morning, 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning. But during the day, people are able to go about their businesses. However, we need to keep our social distances. We need to wear masks. Restaurants have been closed. We don't have any restaurants open. And of course, that has seriously impacted on the lifestyle of Kenyans and the business style and the way businesses are run in Kenya. So we are hoping that tomorrow, which is the 6th of June, the lockdown will be lifted by the president.
And are there any domestic flights happening in Kenya?
There are no domestic flights at all because what has also been done, the lockdown also, we have closed Nairobi out, meaning that you can't go to Mombasa, you can't go to upcountry. So you can't come into Nairobi and you can't get out. Flights there are no domestic flights at all. Any travel out of Nairobi is essential travel. You must be either in the agricultural sector or in the health sector. Anything else for the past so has been on total lockdown, in terms of travel in and out of Nairobi.
Now, tell me, and during these trying times, is the government of Kenya coming through with any assistance for the travel the stakeholders in the country?
The government, I think, has been a bit slow to address the issues of the travel, tourism, and hospitality. The best that they have done for us is giving us updates on the issue of how many people have been affected by the corona. It's only 2 weeks ago when the government now came up and said they were going to introduce a stimulus package. That still has got some stage of approvals to go through Parliament. And of course, the respective enterprises or businesses have to apply for it. So that is ongoing right now.
Now, the wheels in government sometimes take a bit slower, but it will happen.
Yes, it's true, yes. Yes, it is.
No, and I just need you to look into the crystal ball. And let's start talking about what your hopes are for the future. What do you think travel is going to be like post-COVID?
Bunny, I don't think there's going to be a post-COVID. I think the virus is going to be with us for quite a while. And I think for me, what I keep saying, it has been said before, we need to look at how to take advantage of the crisis. We have to be positive, we have to be optimistic, we have to look at ways on how we're going to work and how we're going to serve our clients and how we're going to work with this new virus that is going to be with us. So I'm still, despite what is happening around us, I'm still very optimistic that things are going to be better. We really need to reinvent ourselves as travel agents, as people in the hospitality industry, on how we are going to repackage our business, repackage our products, and how we're going to do things differently. But this COVID is going to be with us for a while. Until a vaccine is found, I don't think we just need to navigate through it and continue our lives as much as possible, the best way possible we can. If you look at the age bracket of most of our tourists, it's been the older people. probably from 55 to 75. That is going to take time before it bounces back. When I look at some statistics that were given the other day by Lufthansa City Centre offices were telling us that 14%, once it opens up, the airspace opens up, the skies open up, 40% of the people would be very hesitant to travel. Another probably 34% will be very cautious. Sorry, if I can say that the 14% will not want to travel at all because they're scared about getting infected. The other percentage is going to be divided equally, meaning that you're going to have people who want to travel, but they'll be very cautious. The other ones will really want to get out and travel irrespective, and that is a younger population. But that is not where our source market is in Kenya. Our source market is the older generation. That is, those are the people who have the money, those are the people who've saved up, and it's a lifetime trip for them. So it's going to take a while before international tourism picks up. However, it's not all that dim for us. We are looking at reviving and proactively looking at our domestic tourism. There's a lot of potential in Kenya for domestic tourism. I think the hoteliers and the tour operators, if they work together hand in hand, there's a lot of potential to sustain them until the industry picks up properly. The other untapped market for us in Africa is regional tourism. I don't know whether, I think Kenya looks at probably less than 1% of the income of domestic tourism, of regional tourism in this country. So Africa, we can interchange, we can exchange a lot of tourism because we have the confidence amongst ourselves to travel within Africa. But our source market, it will be a challenge. It will take a while before the confidence builds up. So we need to work on domestic and we need to work on regional. And there's a lot of potential, and Africa has a lot of products to offer for the two segments, domestic and regional.
And this is where I really admire you, because being involved very much in the African Tourism Board, that calls for increased collaboration between partners in Africa. So there should be some very good deals for the Kenyan market and for the markets that are around your region to benefit from all this collaboration and partnerships that are going to be developing. So the market is going to benefit from that.
Yes, it will.
MICE and group travel. What are your thoughts on that?
I've been very, very active in group travel, especially outbound and, of course, a bit of it inbound. It's going to be a challenge. I think it will take a while before it picks up. In terms of MICE, I think the fact that a lot of meetings, events, conferences have the technology that has come up during this COVID era is really going to change the way we do things. So things are going to change. It's not business as usual. And I think we'll have to watch and wait and see in the next probably 6 months, what are the thoughts of the event organizers? But it's going to change. It's not going to be business as usual. It's not going to be the same.
I think so. We all will need to adjust to this new normal that's being presented to us. Now, and in order to encourage the older market that supports Kenya, what kind of safety and security protocols are going to be put in place so that your clients will have peace of mind and they'll feel very comfortable coming back to Kenya?
I think the government in Kenya has really tried in terms of containing the virus. And what they have done is for passengers or travelers coming into Kenya, currently these are only Kenyans coming, but the repatriation flights, they have insisted that people go for quarantine. That has helped to minimize the infection rate. Number two, it's now mandatory in Kenya that you should wear a mask. It's mandatory in Kenya that you must keep your social distances. Restaurants that are opening and hotels have to go through, they have to be licensed. They have some health protocols that they have to go through. And I think if we look at all these initiatives that the government is taking, it will bring confidence to the international markets that Kenya will be, if we may say, COVID-free minimized area to travel into. So I think I want to just laud our government. It's making a lot of efforts in that direction. And I think that is a way, in the next few months, you'll see you'll see that improving.
Good. Well, thanks, Anne. And in closing, what is your message to the industry partners, your prospective clients?
I'm in the travel industry, Bunny, and for me, at this particular time, we need to look at restructuring our businesses. It's not business as usual. We need to look at coming up into consortiums. We need to look at collaborations. We need to look at acquisitions. A lot of businesses have had a hit on areas of finance. Funds are low, business has just gone off. So unless we look at collaboration, unless we look at partnerships, unless we look at acquisitions, I don't think many travel agents are going to survive. And that goes also for tour operators. For hotels, they need to look at their at the way the product and how they structure the product in terms of pricing. They need to engage the government more to be able to have an ease on taxation so that they can attract both local and regional markets. Number two, the government also, through the Ministry of Tourism, need to look at how to ease the issue of visas for African countries coming into Kenya. That way, then we'll be able to encourage, we'll be able to market Kenya to our African partners. And that business exchange will be very interesting because you know very well, Bunny, some African countries are not able to travel into other countries because there's so much visa restrictions. That needs to be eased so that we can encourage more travel within Africa.
Real words of wisdom. No wonder you are the Queen of Africa, my dear.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Anne.
Thank you.
You know, in closing, I'd like to just state a message from Jimmy Jackson, who's the football coach, who describes exactly who you are. And his words are, the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little bit extra, which you do very, very well. This is Bunny Bhoola from the Dope News, South Africa, thanking you, and I'd like to invite you to stay tuned for more such exciting episodes. Thank you, and good luck. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.